Hello, Canucks fans. Welcome back to an episode of Canucks Conversation brought to you by Bet365. We're coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or visit your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. My name is David Quadrelli. I am joined by Harman Dial. It's a family feud Thursday, folks. We're going to have some fun today on Canucks Conversation. We've also got some Canucks practice notes to dive into. Harm, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. Not quite as fired up as yesterday because I was giddy to talk about the team tank movement, but still feeling positive, and it's going to be interesting. It feels like there's been so many home back-to-backs because of the condensed schedule. That's something we don't really see often in previous years, but another one for the Canucks Friday against Utah, and then where are they playing on Saturday again? Minnesota. So another home back-to-back. They haven't always gone the best for the Canucks this season, but we'll see.
So Nikita Tolopilo recalled today. You texted me. It was pretty funny. We were talking, and we didn't even talk about yesterday's roster move. They sent down Elias Pettersson and Nikita Tolopilo. Both guys played for Abbotsford. Shout out to Abbotsford. 5th win of the year for the boys down there. It was a 1-0 Calgary Wranglers lead for most of that game. And then in the final minute with 50 seconds left in the game on a power play, Danila Klimovich scores, ties it up for Abby. They go on to win in a shootout. Yes, their 5th win of the season. Elias Pettersson was actually on the ice for the goal against. Played most of the night with Victor Mancini, but he was on the ice with Jimmy Schultz when that goal went in against them. So they get the one game. Tolopilo and Pettersson, they're both back up at practice at the NHL level today. We didn't talk about the move. When I wrote about it, I literally wrote, yeah, like they're probably going to get recalled. It was a day off for the big club. So they're probably going to get recalled for practice. And that's exactly what happened. They were both on the ice today at practice. But I think the more interesting thing when it comes to this harm is it wasn't Tom Willander that got sent down. It wasn't Max Sassone that got sent down. It was Elias Pettersson. And I know he's been a healthy scratch as of late, but it goes back to this conversation that started in training camp when he started on a pairing with an AHL line mate. It goes back to this conversation that I don't think it's... I think the Canucks are also using this as an opportunity to just say, like, hey, you're still young and your spot on the team is not guaranteed. Like, we expect more from you. I think that's a part of it as well.
Yeah, and this is why I asked Dave when we had him on about a week and a half ago about, hey, could DPD benefit from some time in the American League? Now, this is only a one-game recall, our one-game stint down the minors before coming back up. But if the play that we saw from him through the 24 games that he played continues, then yeah, I think he would benefit from some time in the American League because it's noticeable by both the eye test and the numbers, but just for reference on the numbers, he is really struggling. Now, part of it is a product, as I've mentioned, of the Canucks as a whole are learning a new system. The entire team's underlying numbers aren't very good this year, but Elias Pettersson especially, there are only 2 defensemen that are sub 40% in terms of their 5-on-5 shot attempt differential this season among defensemen who've played at least 200 minutes. It's DPD and Ilya Lyubushkin out in Dallas. Canucks are only controlling 36% of scoring chances with DPD on the ice, so a nearly 2-to-1 ratio for the opposition. That's the second worst mark among defensemen, and you're talking about a similar level in terms of the Canucks only controlling 37% of goals during DPD shifts. So they're giving up a lot more shots, a lot more chances, a lot more goals than they are creating with DPD on the ice. And when you watch him play, I think he's still learning some of the details of how to defend at the NHL level. Mm-hmm. I think there are just many instances. For example, one really stuck out to me when the Winnipeg Jets were in town, where DPD is going back for a loose puck that was dumped into the Canucks zone. He's going up against Winnipeg's third line, and in that position, going back for the loose puck, he takes the wrong route to it. The Winnipeg forward down low is able to pick up possession, wheels around, feeds Adam Lowry in front, ends up in the back of the net. Right? That's a young, inexperienced mistake of taking the wrong route on a D zone retrieval. Those are the details that I think he's needing to learn. And even a lot of times during defensive zone coverage, I mean, I remember when Montreal was in town, Ivan Demidov put him in a blender with all the spin moves, and 10 seconds later scored the one-time blast goal, which he was on the ice for. Other spots where the intent is there to be aggressive and close and kill plays early. But I think the difference last year was he would rarely put himself out of position when he was pinching in certain spots or trying to close plays down on the cycle down low. There were very few situations that you'd look at and go, oh, DPD is out of position here. Whereas I think this year, and again, I think part of it is learning a new defensive scheme, adjusting to a playing style where the defensemen have the green light to be even more aggressive and even more high tempo. But I've noticed quite a few instances where he's out of position and just learning a lot of the details that come with defending at the NHL level, where the margin for error is so slim. Nick is coming, whether you want it to or not.
Jacob hits the button. I like that. You're right. You're right about DPD, and I think the interesting thing is that he's been recalled, and that it looks like he's going to get right back in. It's not going to be a stretch in the AHL. I think it was just it was almost like a reminder of like, hey,
Reset.
you know we can do this. You know we can do this to you, right? Like, you know you could go back to the AHL. I want to get to the practice lines from today, but before we do that, I want to tell everybody about our friends at Greta, a great spot for all games, home and away. You can skip the line and not have to pay cover on game nights if you're wearing the home team's gear. And of course, there's also the game day specials at Greta, including $3.33 off select food items, $3.33 on select drinks, and more. You got the arcade, you got the bar, and you got the street food menu. It's a great spot. Make it your spot to watch the next game, and make it your spot on December 20th. Boston, Vancouver, come hang out with us. Now, we're for the people. We're for the people on this. Is there interest in it being wear a Christmas sweater party? Because if there is, we'll make it that. Like, wear your best Christmas sweater. You don't have to, but are we going to encourage that? I think so. But people in the chat, let me know. Would you rather wear a Canucks jersey or would you rather wear a Christmas sweater? Whatever people want to do. We'll see what the interest level's like. But yeah, December 20th, put it in your calendars. We'll have info on that soon. Let's take a look at these practice lines here. Courtesy of our pal.
Before we dive into that, just wanted to quickly put a bow on the DP conversation.
Well, wait, I was going to start with
sure. Go.
Okay. So just taking a quick look at the practice lines, DPD skating with Tyler Myers. It's Marcus Pettersson, it's Tom Villander, and then of course Hughes, Hronek. It feels like a question we've asked many times, Harm, but Marcus Pettersson, Myers is kind of how we configured it at the start of the year when we were all talking about this team. But do you like the idea of like a vet with one of these young guys in DPD in particular playing with Tyler Myers?
Sure. I don't think the results have been much better in the bottom four, regardless of whether they've gone stacking Marcus Pettersson and Myers together with the vets, which would leave a young third D pair of DPD and Tom Villander. Regardless of what look they've gone, I don't think it's been particularly great. However, I think Villander and DPD being together, there's just too much inexperience defensively.
Yes.
I think when they were together, you saw that, okay, because they're both learning the game, at times when they're hemmed in, especially playing off of each other, boxing guys out in front of the net, getting under sticks, the timing for when to close plays off, it was a bit of an adventure for them in their own end. And just looking at the numbers together, small sample, right, of Villander and DPD, but in 51 5-on-5 minutes together, the shots on goal were 27-12 for opponents. High danger chances were 10-5. So I think it's best for those young guys to have vets to play with, even though I don't think the overall results are going to be massively better for the bottom four unit as a whole compared to the previous configuration of Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers, and DPD of Verlander.
I'm trying to find a stat, and I want to keep reading the lines and go over some practice notes, but I'm trying to make sure I'm right, and I think I am. These past 3 games where the Canucks have only given up 8 goals, they've lost all 3, but only given up 8 goals. I'm fairly certain that is the fewest number of goals they've given up in any 3-game stretch this season.
Yeah, I would have to go back and fact check that, but it sounds about right to me.
I'm looking at the game log right now. I don't think there's any that are I don't think there's any. Oh, right here. Nope. They have one where they also gave up 8. There's one 3-game stretch. There were 2 wins in that stretch, end of October I'm talking about. But yeah, other than that, this is the fewest amount they've given up in a 3-game stretch this season. So I ask you this, Harm, as we talk about the defense, are they making strides in the right direction? Because that was something we heard from Quinn today. Quinn was talking about this, that he thinks they're starting to take some strides when it comes to defending in their own end and not giving up as many goals.
Well, I did like their 5-on-5 game against San Jose. I think they genuinely outplayed them. And I said this on Monday, how really it was special teams that sunk them, right? Their power play going 0 for 8, their PK surrendering multiple goals against again. But at 5-on-5, it wasn't just that, okay, the Canucks were defending better, but you were also creating a lot of offensive looks. Now, you have to take that with a pinch of salt because the Sharks, despite their decent record this year, they got smacked around 7-1 by the Capitals last night.
Who was in net?
Askarov. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Fair enough. Take that victory. Haven't had many of those this year with him yet. But the Sharks, 5-on-5, they've got some of the worst metrics in the league. Like most teams on a night-to-night basis outplay the Sharks. Now, because Askarov has been so good and because Celebrini is a game breaker, they've still won games the same way that they did against the Canucks. But the point being, yeah, they were better against the Sharks, but the bar in terms of your opponent, it was pretty low there. Then against the Kings, yeah, they held on pretty well, and it was a low event game. But part of that too is the Kings don't manufacture a lot of 5-on-5 offense. During Kings games, there is very little offense created at both ends of the rink, and so yeah, the Canucks defended better. But how much of that is LA wanted to play that way?
Sure,
especially because when Anaheim was in town, we saw, and maybe part of this is the adaptability that Adam Foote talked about, that we want to adapt to the way our opponents play and that kind of thing, where in the Anaheim game, it was a track meet back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, they've been defending better the last 3 games, but I don't know if that's necessarily like it's a small 3-game sample in which you played one of the worst 5-on-5 teams in the NHL in San Jose, a Kings team that lulled you into a low event style where credit to the Canucks, they held on well and they were legitimately in it, but the Kings aren't a very potent 5-on-5 offensive team. And then against the Avs, yeah, they only scored 3 goals, but let's be honest, they were creating chances in bunches. The Avs were creating chances in bunches, and honestly, if it wasn't for Kevin Lankinen, the Avs could have easily put up 4 or 5 on the Canucks.
Okay, now I want to continue down the road with Canucks practice notes because Nils Höglander, a full participant. Really, really good news for the Canucks. And I got a take for you, but I'll save it. Okay, so just running through some notes, okay? Courtesy of our pal Jeff Patterson, who was at practice, wrote scenes from practice over at CanucksArmy.com. You can go check it out. Thatcher Demko was back today. Not a full participant. He left early, but that was the plan for him. It wasn't like he got a new injury or aggravated and had to go off the ice. He was out before practice, stayed for part of practice, and then left. Nils Höglander, like I said, full participant. Connor Garland started in a non-contact red, but then switched to a white practice sweater midway, skated on a line with Max Sassone and Brock Besser, the second line. And he's a possibility to play on Friday, according to Adam Foote. Yeah. And then with Höglander, Foote said that there's a strong possibility that he's going to make his season debut before the end of this 4-game homestand. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be good news for the Vancouver Canucks to get Nils Höglander back? So Höglander not in the practice line rushes today, but he was on the ice. So again, really, really good news for the Canucks, who, like you already said, Friday, Saturday, then Monday, they take on the Detroit Red Wings. Thursday, they've got the Buffalo Sabres in town as they close out the homestand. So maybe Monday, maybe Thursday for Höglander. Looks like Garland's going to be good to go.
Yeah. First of all, I am amped up to see Garland and Besser together. Those two were manufacturing some offense. They seem to have some chemistry playing off of each other. It's just nice for Brock to have somebody to set him up for opportunities, because you know that down the middle now, of course, it's Sasson in that spot. Before it was David Kampf. But the point being, whatever center you're on isn't going to be making many plays offensively. And of course, I think it was JPAD who had this statistic that combined, the Canucks have only had 1 assist this season from the second line center position. So I think for Brock, it's a massive boost to have Garland back on that line. And we'll see too, because it wasn't just that they were creating looks. They were creating looks during shifts when Quinn Hughes wasn't on the ice either. And when those two guys can manufacture some offensive looks, and not even off the rush, more so off the cycle, funneling pucks from low to high, it gives the Canucks a second layer of offensive punch in non-Quinn Hughes minutes that they otherwise obviously haven't had.
You ready for my take? Or sorry, do you have anything else you want to hear about Canucks practice? Anything you wanted to say? I think that was really it. Okay, I'll give you my take. And I want to get to this Hughes frustration stuff in a sec, but I'll give you my take. I look at those lines, okay? I look at those lines, and I think this team's about to go on a run. They're defending well, or they think they're defending well. I think this team's about to go on a run. I hate to say it. We're talking about the tank, all that sort of stuff. I think this team's about to win a bunch of games. Write it down, Jacob. Get your new little notepad going. And don't put it on a computer, because if it dies, you lose all my lists. Write it down on your wall.
Write it down on your wall is crazy.
Write it down. The Canucks will win more games in December than they lose. They'll be above 500 in the month of December. And you can include the loss to Colorado already.
Okay, interesting.
Like, it's happening now. It's going to happen now. Yeah, someone in the chat literally said better now than in March. This team's about to go on a run. I think so. That's my vibes take.
Tank is coming, whether you want it to or not.
Good timing, Jacob. Brad said quads. This team is not going on a run with Sasson at second line center.
I mean, we'll see.
He said it. Harman just said it. Garland's on that line now.
First, before you go on a run, you have to prove you can win back-to-back games. They haven't won back-to-back games since Filipino was healthy.
Yeah, they're going to this month. I'm telling, like, dude, I'm not sitting here like, oh, I hope this happens. I'm just telling you, and I'm pretty good with the vibes takes. You've learned to respect the vibes. My vibe on this team right now is this team's about to start winning some games. I think so.
Honestly, the strength of schedule for December works in your favor, because let's look at how many teams. So you got Utah, who's on the fringes of a playoff spot, but they're not firmly in it. Too. Yeah. Then you got Minnesota. Okay, they're one of the hottest teams in the NHL. Detroit's not a playoff spot. Buffalo's not in a playoff spot. After that, it's New Jersey, but it's New Jersey without Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
The Rangers are not in a playoff spot. The Islanders are on the fringes, but not quite there. Same thing with the Bruins. The Flyers are, but the Flyers also just lost Tyson Forrester, who had scored 6 goals in his last 7 games. And let's be honest, the Flyers aren't a scary team. They're still pretty mid. And then you've got, at the end of the month, the Sharks, the Kraken, and the Flyers.
Yeah.
So the only good team in that stretch is Minnesota.
Well,
That's
that's a
one out of
wild
1,
take.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So one of your next 12 games are against the team that I look and go, oh, they're actually good. The rest of the teams are pretty mid.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of why I said it, is like they've already lost Colorado, and that's obviously the best team they're going to face all month. Brad in the chat, Quads, what's a run? 3 in a row for this team? Like back-to-back games is like, oh my gosh. Think about it. Everybody would be like, whoa, slow down if they win 2 games in a row, right? Like,
You also have to clarify. They have to be above 500, the real 500, right? Not the fake 500 where, if they go, I don't know.
Oh, like OT losses? No, I
Yeah.
don't include that. Yeah, no, real 500.
Yeah.
Real
Okay,
500.
yeah. All right. Because I think Quads said isn't that impressive. 28 teams so far are above 500. But no, you're talking real 500, not
Yes.
the fake 500.
There's going to be more W's than L's on the calendar this month. That's my take. It's my vibes take.
It honestly could happen.
Yeah. Write it down, Jacob. Write it down.
I've written it down just for you.
On your wall?
No, not on my wall.
All right.
You're the one. You're the one at the whiteboard. You could write it down on your wall.
I could. Oh yeah. You know what? I will write it down. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for that reminder. As I write that, Jacob, can we listen? Did you hear this, Harm? The Quinn Hughes comments. He got asked about the frustrations. He got asked, or Adam Foote got asked about the same thing. Did you hear this?
I saw the quote. I didn't hear the full answer.
Okay. Well, now's a good time to hear it then, Jacob.
Of course. I feel like I've seen pretty much everything under the sun here, good and bad, and you want to win, and losing sucks. And I know everyone in here feels that way, and the coaching staff. No one's probably more competitive than Adam Foote, so just gotta, something that I continue to get better at, and yeah.
What did you make of those comments? Because the thing that stood out to me was at the end, the something I have to get better at. Like that's and we know Quinn. Like I know there might be people that are like, oh, that's not what he meant. Like Quinn doesn't really speak out of turn, and he doesn't like stumble over his words or say something he doesn't mean very often. And then when you hear what Adam Foote had to say, which we'll hear in a sec, one thing Adam Foote said is we've had discussions about it, right? So it goes back to what we've talked about, and what we both had very reasonable takes about it. We understand the people that are like, a captain of a team can't straight leg it out there and defend like that. Like that clip went viral. People around the league tweeting it out and, talking about like, oh my goodness, this looks like a lazy beer leaguer right now. And then I understand the other people that are like, well, he's playing 30 minutes a night and he's frustrated with all the losing. Like, yeah, of course. But you also acknowledge that you don't want to see that from a captain. And I think that's what Quinn did. I think that's what Foote was doing as well. Quinn saying it's something he wants to get better at. It's just not showing that level of frustration.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny at the start of the answer. I feel like I've seen everything under the sun, good and bad. Dude sounds like he's been through wars and battles, and you completely understand it given everything the organization has been through the 6.5 seasons that he's been a Vancouver Canuck. But it's just funny for him to put it in perspective like that. You can tell he's seen some stuff.
Okay, now I want to hear what Foote had to say as well. Jacob, Adam Foote, him talking about the frustrations for Quinn Hughes.
Oh, I didn't have that ready. You're gonna have to give me 20 seconds.
Okay, no worries. I wrote it on the board.
Your handwriting is so small.
Well, I have to fit in case I need to draw out plays. Can you not read
fair. It? Not really, unless you.
I put it on
bring it close.
The whiteboard's on a nice hook. Nice.
Oh wow! Actually, you know what? You shouldn't have brought that close. I didn't want to see your handwriting.
Okay, I'm writing with a mic in my hand and I'm like leaning over.
Honestly, good job to leave that far out enough that people can't tell your handwriting.
It's not that bad. Come on, it's not that bad.
Pretty bad.
It's not that bad.
And I say this as somebody that also has bad handwriting.
Okay, I have decent hand. Okay, that's not good. I get a closer look at it. That's not great. But I got decent handwriting. I want to read this comment. This was from Paul Papadoulis, regular listener and attendee of the watch party. Not that Harman would know. In the chat, he said, YouTube told me this channel was my #1 most watched this year. I got that too. They did YouTube Wrapped this year. Obviously, they do the Spotify Wrapped, Apple Music Replay, all that sort of stuff. But YouTube, I got a few people reach out and say that we are their #1 channel. So appreciate it to everybody who checks out Canucks Convo. And again, the podcast thing too. It's good. Okay, here we go. I want to read this. This is a good one. This is what I am Dom B. He said, why is everyone, also a regular listener to the show, he said, why is everyone so annoyed at Quinn for showing his frustration for how the season is going, considering where he's been 2 seasons ago? I really don't understand why the media keeps kicking that tire. And this is the thing. We talked about it yesterday, but I'll bring it up again because I feel like there's people that aren't quite understanding the point. It's not like we're not annoyed that Quinn's showing his frustrations. We're just recognizing, again, don't make us play the clip. But if you're Linus Karlsson or you're David Kampf or you're one of these lower paid guys on the team or you're one of these guys that's just trying to make it and just like working hard and you're all trying to win, it's not a good look for your captain to straight leg it out there. It doesn't fly in big hockey markets. It doesn't. It's just not going to fly, especially from your captain. It's not going to happen. Again, I bring it up. Everybody thinks people made a huge deal about JT Miller and his body language when he was here. He pulled that once in New York, and he was flamed not only by fans of the Rangers and Rangers media, but also ex-Rangers. Like Sean Avery posted that video where I cannot repeat what Sean Avery said about JT Miller. But if you think we're blowing it out of proportion or whatever you think, you're just wrong. It's not great body language from a captain. That's all we're saying. And we're not sitting here saying like, oh, I can't believe, I don't understand how Quinn could do this. Like Quinn himself just said like, he needs to work on it. He knows you can't show that level of frustration. Adam Foote knows that. Like you can't have that visible frustration where it lets you take shifts off. You can't do that.
Yeah, nothing to add there. No notes. You summed it up really well.
Jacob, do we have the clip of Foote?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's do it.
Talk about it. Quinn's strength, like everybody's, right? Could his strength is he wants to win so bad, and he knows he can make every play. He's still young, and he'll be the first to tell you he's learning that when he's tired or had long shifts, maybe not to push. Right. The beauty is he believes he can get it done. That's the good part about it at times, and he's learning that there's times where maybe get off or don't chance it at that moment when you're on tired legs but he's a guy that probably has shown frustration here and there. We've had discussion about it, and he owns his own stuff, so it's a good question, and that's him still growing and learning.
We've had discussions about it. That's him still growing and learning. He owns it. Like that's the other thing that Foote said, that I think those are the 3 main things that matter.
Yeah, and I'll also say this. If you go back to when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were a lot younger, they would also have maybe not moments where their clips are going viral.
Yeah.
Because they're completely giving up on plays, but there would be moments where, all right, they're pushing for offense because they realize we're the only way our team is going to manufacture scoring and win games. And when a play doesn't work offensively, then they're slow to come back on the back check. It maybe hurts Edmonton defensively. There was one year where Connor McDavid's defensive metrics were just like awful, frankly. Same thing with Leon as well. Might have been either 2018-19 or 2019-20, a little bit before the pandemic, right? The peak of Connor and Leon are amazing, but the Oilers aren't even a playoff team, similar to where the Canucks are at with Quinn Hughes right now. And in that market, McDavid and Draisaitl would sometimes catch flack for, are these guys committed defensively?
Yes.
Do they cheat for offense? Do they care enough? Are they good enough leaders? And so the point being, these are human beings, and if Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can end up in these situations where the frustration takes over, and earlier in their careers, their defensive metrics looked bad, they were attempting too many home run plays, trying to put the superhero cape on because they didn't trust their teammates to be able to get
Yeah.
the job done offensively, well, then you understand how Quinn can end up in a similar spot. And the same way that Connor and Leon matured over time, and most importantly, once the team around them got good enough, their supporting cast, that they didn't have to think that way, those issues corrected themselves. And again, this part's massive, because at one point McDavid's defensive metrics were some of the worst in the NHL. And I remember a lot of people saying McDavid's bad defensively, doesn't know how to defend, this and that. And my take was, I guarantee you, once he has a better supporting cast, all these issues will go away. And sure enough, a year or two later, when the Oilers were better, all of a sudden McDavid's two-way metrics look like some of the best in the league. And I mean, last year we saw Draisaitl finishing sixth in Selke Trophy voting.
Yeah.
So the point being, I completely understand both sides of it. I think Foot is right that part of it is it's hard to deal with when you're the superstar. There's so little help around you to, like, sometimes you are going to force play. Sometimes you are going to be frustrated and as bad as it looks, sometimes give up defensively. Yes, it's on Quinn to make sure that doesn't happen too many more times. And really, this is uncharacteristic for him. I mean, how many times over the last 6 or 7 years have we seen this from Quinn? But the point being, there's nuance here, and both sides have a point where, his body language needs to be better, but also I understand why,
for sure,
you get the occasional slip up.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from practice?
No, I think I'm good.
Then I think it's time. You're just testing buttons? I have never seen Jacob jump the gun so badly. What happened?
I was preloading it and I didn't realize it was unmuted. So there we go. I guess we're doing Family Feud now.
All right, take it away, Jacob.
All right. Well, that was not the smoothest of transitions into Canucks Conversation Family Feud. That one's on me. No, not everyone can be like Harman with his Uber Eats
smooth transitions.
Yeah.
I was really proud of the one yesterday. I think that was one of my best of all time.
That was really good. You got a lot of compliments.
Yes. All right. It's time for another edition of Canucks Conversation Family Feud. Easier week this week, guys. I think you guys will get there. But some interesting responses nonetheless. Some interest, just people have stepped up a little bit. We've got some good question suggestions coming in and some good responses as well. If you're new here, Harman is going to go first. He'll have 25 seconds on the clock. We are playing Family Feud Fast Money. So I'm going to ask him 5 questions that were sent out to Canucks Conversation listeners. All the survey data comes from you. And the goal is to reach 200 points as a team. So Quads, now would be the time to disconnect those AirPods, pop in your music, whatever you got to do. Harman, are you just about ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. I will remind you, your timer will begin when I finish reading the first question. And if you can't think of a response, say pass. We will come back to it at the end if there is time. All right, here we go. Of the Western Conference teams with multiple season playoff droughts, who is most likely to make the playoffs this year?
Anaheim.
How many first and second round selections will the Canucks own when the 2026 draft begins?
3.
Which Canadian team will be the next to win the Cup?
Montreal.
Name a country that will play in the men's bronze medal game at the Olympics.
Sweden.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Canucks can still make the playoffs this season?
1.
All right. You can flag Quads down. You did well, Harm. You did very, very well.
Yeah, you're right. I think this was an easier week.
How'd it go?
I think it went well. We should have this.
Nice.
Not only did it go well,
okay,
Harman got every single number 1 answer on the board.
Holy smokes. So
you were at
there's not many
178
number 2 answers that are going to help me.
Well,
I'm at what?
Harman got you 178 points. You only need 22 points, Quads.
All right. I'll lock in.
For reference, 3 of the 5 number 2 answers would win it for you just with one answer.
Oh, just with okay. Let's go. I'm ready.
If you don't win, Quads, this is the fumble of all fumbles. The
Yeah, I
chat
know. You
will
won't.
never
You
let you forget.
I'm not
this.
going to. Let's go. Fire it up.
He's gonna get this.
Okay, Quads, you're going to have 30 seconds on the clock. Your time will begin when I finish reading the first question. Please, if you need to pass, just pass. There is absolutely no pressure to get all 5 answers out of here.
Okay.
Do not get yourself stuck.
I'm not worried.
If
at
you
all.
give one of Harman's answers, which I would imagine you're going to do at least 3 or 4 times, I will ask you to try again, and you'll hear the buzzer.
The chat wants me to choke so badly.
I'm sure they do. All right. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, your 30 seconds will begin when I finish reading this first question. Of the Western Conference teams with multiple season playoff droughts, who is most likely to make the playoffs this year?
Ducks.
Try again.
Utah.
How many first and second round selections will the Canucks own when the 2026 draft begins?
3.
Try again.
4.
Which Canadian team will be the next to win the Stanley Cup?
Montreal.
Try again.
Edmonton.
Name a country that will play in the men's bronze medal game at the Olympics.
Czechia.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you the Canucks can still make the playoffs this season?
1.
Try again.
2.
There we go. Just ahead of the buzzer.
I won.
Yeah, I got
for
it.
sure.
You won.
Yeah,
You
that
guys
was
won.
easy.
I
Light
will-
work. Everybody just shut up in the chat.
I will.
Clutched up.
Utah
read the
is such a
timer.
good pick. That should be the number.
That was
2
a really
answer.
good pick.
I can't
There
believe
we
I thought of that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Now, technically, if we are being honest, and I counted Utah as Arizona because they inherited the roster, but
Of course.
in the eyes of the NHL, Utah is its own franchise, and they only have a 1-year playoff drought. So,
Did other people vote Utah though?
yes,
Did they
other
vote-
people
yeah.
did vote Utah.
Yeah, good.
Um,
Yeah, the NHL is doing that's nonsense.
I know.
Yeah, the
I
NHL
agree.
Yeah, exactly. That is nonsense. Thank you.
It is
Harv.
nonsense. That is why I considered, even in the drop down menu when people were voting, I said Utah and Arizona are considered the same franchise. That was the number 2 answer. Quads, 26 points.
Let's go. That one alone. People in the chat, I can't believe it. Everybody's preying on my downfall. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Chicago was the number 3 answer. Seattle at number 4. San Jose with only 4 votes at number 5. No votes for Calgary, by the way. No surprise there. How many first and second round selections will Canucks own when the draft begins? 3 was the number 1 answer. Quads, you hit the number 2 answer there. 29 points. You guys are at 233. I wonder if you guys can hit 300.
Wow.
I think it's
I
possible.
must say,
If you hit every number 2 answer, Quads, you're going to get there.
I got buzzed and I still.
Which Canadian team will be the next to win the Cup? Montreal, number 1. Edmonton was actually the number 4 answer. Quads, only 12 points there.
Oh, 12
Ottawa.
Good. Yeah.
Ottawa.
Oh,
the
Ottawa.
number 2
Yeah.
answer.
I should have said Ottawa.
Vancouver still got votes at number 5. There's 7 votes there. Winnipeg was number 3.
Oh, nice to see Michael Bublé's voting. Good family.
There were 2 teams that did not receive a single vote: the Calgary Flames and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nice.
The Leafs did not receive a single vote. We did this question last year, right about this time, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Leafs were the number 2 or 3 answer. So, man, how things have changed there in Toronto. I'm sure no one in this chat is too upset to hear about that. Name a country that will play in the bronze medal game at the Olympics. Sweden was the number 1 answer, 31 points. Czechia, the number 2 answer, 19 points. Gets you to 264.
Let's go.
Number 3 was the U.S., number 4, Finland, number 5, Canada, number 6, Slovakia. And a few people dropped in some fun ones, like Latvia got a couple votes, Switzerland got a couple votes. We'll see. Hey, maybe Artur Shilovs carries Latvia to another bronze medal.
Could happen.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you the Canucks can still make the playoffs this season? 1 out of 10 was the number 1 answer, 33 points. Quads, you went up, you pivoted to number 2, right? Which was the number 2 answer.
Nice.
30 points. You guys got to 294 points. Quads, the only number 2 answer you missed was Edmonton instead of
I would
Ottawa.
just like to point out for all these fraudulent.
You would have hit 300, by the way,
in the
if
chat.
you had gotten it.
Yeah, well, I just want to point this out.
Fraudrelli. I love that.
Yeah, people. Flaudrelli as well. It's
Flaudre-
fraud
wow, this
and
is
Flaudrelli.
Good job, chat.
No, not good job, chat. Don't encourage it. I just want to point out to all the haters and the losers in the chat. I got 100 points by myself. with no
He did,
number one answers
116.
available. With
Yep.
no number one answers available to me. So
Yep,
anyway.
that's very. This is Quads. This might be your most impressive round in a while. Unfortunately, it just followed the greatest round of Family Feud we had ever had from Harman in the first round. There,
I don't
so,
care. We got the win. All I care about
yep.
is the win. I'm a team guy. I'm a team
Also,
guy.
if anyone's interested, 3 people gave the Canucks 10 out of 10 chance to still make the playoffs this year. So,
Buble.
I'm curious if I were to pull up those results, what they would have voted for the other questions. I would assume all 3 of them picked Vancouver as the next Canadian team to win the cup as well. I feel like those would have gone hand in hand. Anyways, great work, guys. New Feud survey should be up tomorrow for those who want to submit responses for next week.
Sweet. All right. Let's get to anyone else. We got a new ad read about anyone else. So let's do it. Anyone else is still presented by Pacific Toyota Dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid, a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kilometers on the battery alone, enough to get you from downtown to the rink, the grocery store, and home to recharge. Then you can seamlessly transition from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. There's no sacrifices when it comes to horsepower style with its sleek, low and wide exterior and sophisticated interior. It's loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. You can plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. And now get this, you can lease a 2026 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $109 weekly at 3.99% APR for 64 months with $3,300 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. I am Dom B. I'm a team guy, but my performance is the most impressive one, says Quads after almost fumbling Family Feud. I didn't almost fumble. I didn't. Anyway, anyone else? Couple things that I wanted to get to. We brought up the YouTube Wrapped. Jacob, can you pull this up? The Canucks Spotify Wrapped.
I'll need a second, but I can grab it. Yeah.
Of course. The Canucks posted this, and they do it every year of the players' top songs, and people noticed Quinn Hughes wasn't included in it. He wasn't in last year's or the year before that. That was pointed out to me. So just before everybody's like, oh, he wants a trade, the social team asked him for his favorite song and he told them to shove it. So, and I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what people are assuming happened. He wasn't in it in the years past. Anyways, even in the year where they were really good and they were making the playoffs, he didn't participate. I don't think Quinn Hughes is much of a music enjoyer.
I don't think it's that. It's more that Quinn, and I've known this is my 7th season covering him and the team. He doesn't have a lot of patience for questions that aren't directly related to hockey. Right? Other guys will have a lot of fun with, for example, a couple of years ago when they were really good, I was working on a story about just inside the Canucks team playing. What are some of the dynamics that go on? Who's at the card table? And like JT Miller and Phil DiGiuseppe had an awesome time with it. They were like chirping each other, like giving me quotes through it about how bad the other one was. You had Tyler Myers talking about the little movie club that they have. But I would note, I'm not going to Quinn for this kind of question because just non-hockey related, he's not going to want to play ball. Whereas other guys are a lot more open to it. I mean, I even talked to Dakota Joshua about how annoying the team finds it to go through customs, right? With the team playing when they're crossing the states, especially with some of the European guys that they have. Apparently they get stopped up a little bit more. But the point being, most players have no problem with some of these like off the wall, like non-on ice related questions. But Quinn's, he's great to talk to about hockey. And you want to talk to him about his teammates, about just like nerd out about some of the on-ice stuff. Amazing for that. But when it comes to a lot of the off-ice stuff, I don't think he enjoys it. And so it doesn't surprise me that he didn't play ball for this.
Well, again, we don't know exactly what happened, but it's all I'm saying is it's not this big. Quinn didn't.
It obviously has. I don't put 1 second of thought into Quinn didn't answer and should Canucks fans be worried?
But what I did want to focus on was some of the players who did answer. Jacob, pull that up again. Derek Forbert. I was not familiar with your game. I tweeted this out. His favorite song, "Night Moves" by Bob Seger. You know that song, right?
I don't.
All right, Jacob.
I'm
look
not-
Bob Seger.
No, I
I'm
can't.
not cultured.
Perk, I was gonna say I can't play any of the music because it's copyright, but you want me to book
Not
Bob
what I
Seger.
asked. Didn't ask you to play the song, did I?
Well, that's just what I assumed you were gonna say, considering that like Bob Seger is 80 years old. I don't think he's coming on the show.
Okay, well, try and then get back to us. Anyways, I love that song. That song played a lot at my wedding, Harm. I think we played it twice, so you would actually know it if you heard it. Also, did you catch that? I think Nils Höglander's picked his favorite song as like the Sweden national team goal song.
Oh, really? That's
I'm
awesome.
pretty sure it's Tre Kroner, which means 3 crowns, which is the nickname of the Swedish team. Let's just go up and down this list. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else that I wanted to highlight. Jake DeBrusk picked a Taylor Swift song last year, which is why I had that story with him about trying to snag Taylor Swift tickets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these other songs. Oh, I know "Go Your Own Way" by Fleetwood Mac. I know that song. And "Change" by J. Cole. I almost said "Change" by Max Sissone, but it's Max Sissone's favorite song, J. Cole. I like that one. Oh, I know a bar song. I know that one too. But yeah, those are the only songs on this list that I know.
Cool concept though. Fun.
Yeah. Let's do ours. Do you have your Spotify Wrapped? I use Apple Music. Do you need a second to get yours?
Yeah, I remember most of it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I'm not cultured music wise. So this isn't like most people's Spotify Wrapped is going to be a lot better than mine.
Who cares? What do you mean better? Wait till you hear mine. I think you'll really enjoy it. Jacob, get yours too if you have a second. I use Apple Music instead of Spotify. I've had both. Like I feel like people are like, "Oh, I use this and it's so much better," and they've never had the other one. Like I had Spotify for a couple of years and it was fine, but I have an iPhone, I have 2 MacBooks, one for work, one for my personal computer, one's a work computer. Anyways, I just have a lot of Apple products. So like Apple Music works a lot better. I really like it. It lets me collab, and I'm sure Spotify, and I know Spotify has the same features. I just like Apple Music. I prefer it more. Sue me. I'm an Apple Music guy over Spotify.
Same. I've tried both as well. I use Spotify. I prefer its UI, but functionally, it's the exact same.
Yeah, like it lets me listen to music, and that's all I care about. All right. Do you guys just want to do top 5 artists?
Top 5 artists, and then top most played song, I think is the best way to go about it.
You start, Jacob.
My top artists, and people are going to find this very funny because they got a pretty wide spectrum of genres and artists that I listen to. So my top artists are Morgan Wallen, Fall Out Boy, Brothers Osborne, Green Day, and Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is a good mix.
So a little bit of country, a little bit of punk rock, and a little bit of rap.
Okay, and songs?
Top song. I'll just do my top song. Drinkin' Till It Does by Morgan Wallen off of his recent album.
Give me a sec. I actually need to go back and look.
I got mine.
Yeah, you
ready?
go first.
All right, number 1, Taylor Swift. Number 2, Sabrina Carpenter. Number 3, Chappell Roan. Number 4, 50 Cent. Number 5, Tate McRae. And then if I go 6, it's Kanye West. Pitbull. I got Jay-Z on there. DMX, Kid Cudi. I have Bob Seger as well. Me and Derek Forbert both have Bob Seger in the list. But yeah, that's my list. My top 5, and the listening minutes, it's 985 minutes of Taylor Swift, 485 of Sabrina Carpenter, 346 of Chappell Roan, and then it's a pretty big gap between everyone else.
Okay, I got my top 5.
Let's do it.
Jack Harlow.
Nice.
G-Eazy, J. Cole. And then I don't know if people know these. These are last year were a couple small artists. I started getting into country this year. So Evan Honor, I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yep.
And then this is like a dark pop genre. It's a guy called Darcy.
Okay. Nice.
like
And then
it,
the top
Harm.
song was Tranquility by Jack Harlow.
Mike in the Valley. Quads is a 16-year-old girl.
Hey, I really like my white girl pop music too.
Yes,
I listened
and
to a lot of Taylor Swift in the second. I'm honestly surprised she wasn't part of my top 5.
newsflash, I'm married to a white girl. So you know what? When we're in the car and my phone's plugged in, we're listening to Taylor Swift. And look,
I've
I
got
like,
some Tate McRae too. I've got some Dua Lipa. That's
yeah.
I don't listen to one of those artists enough for them to have landed in my top 5,
Mhm.
but I got a lot of that type of music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jokes aside, if I'm at the gym and a Dua Lipa song comes on, I'm not skipping it.
Yep, dude,
Yeah.
exactly. Dua Lipa, yeah, Dua Lipa. She's they're yeah. And one of my favorite memories, Harm. Dua Lipa, when you did the karaoke, you did.
Oh
Dua Lipa
yeah,
song at
yeah.
karaoke.
I sang a Dua Lipa song.
Yeah, and you crushed it. I did 50 Cent. Moving right past that.
I'm
All right.
never gonna forget that night. That was
No.
awesome.
Yeah, that was a good time. All right. Oh, I didn't do my top songs. How do I find this? Hold up. I'll find it.
See if you're on
Okay.
Spotify.
No, I found it. All right, top songs. Pink Pony Club was number 1. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter was number 2. Many Men by 50 Cent was number 3. What Up Gangsta was number 4, also by 50 Cent. One song I'm not gonna read the title of. Yeah, we'll stop there. My number 5 song is anyways. All right, we'll stop there. Somehow I don't have a Taylor Swift song as my number 1. I listen to her in volume, you know? There's not like one song that I'm like, "Oh, I gotta listen
Don't
to this."
Blame Me is such a banger.
Yes. There's so many good songs. Yeah. Uh Karn in the chat. Jacob, book Taylor Swift. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if she's available. Tell her I'm a big fan. That'll push it over the edge. That'll push it over the edge for sure.
Easy.
People saying I lost street cred. I don't like it. All right. Matt Friesen had a good comment. I like that. All right. Let's get to some hockey stuff to kind of close it out here. We also didn't talk much about this Olympic stuff that came down yesterday, Harm.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. You must still have family connections down in Italy. What the hell is going on? Talk to your people. What the hell, man?
Buddy, they're not doing the Olympics in Sicily. I'll tell you that much. So I don't have it. Like I don't have.
They've
any
only had like
family.
9, 7, 8, 9 years to figure this out.
I know it's weird, right? And this
how do
is
you
the thing.
screw up a 200-foot?
Buddy, my nonno built his house in the 60s in North Burnaby. It's still standing today. How can you not figure out a hockey rink? It didn't take him that long. It was him and a few of his boys. I've seen the photos. It's a few of his boys, and they were, they built the house, and they did it in like 5 minutes. Quick story. And you got to try to get me back on track, but quick story about building houses and stuff. So I grew up in North Burnaby, went to a school, obviously. Believe it or not. And a lot of Italians at my school. Okay. So you remember my friend Matteo that was a groomsman in my wedding? Met him in grade 8. Okay. And learned his last name and everything. And I went to my nonno's house after school and I was like, oh, no, I made a friend. His name's Matteo and his last name, blah, blah, blah. I said his last name. And he goes, oh, is his nonno's name? And then he gives me his nonno's name. And I text Matteo. I'm like, hey, is this your grandpa's name? And he's like, yeah. And then my nonno goes, oh, he built the stairs. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, no, we weren't really friends or anything, but like he built the stairs. So it was just multiple Italian guys just built this house. So how can you not figure out how to build a hockey rink? Because I don't think it took nonno that long to build his house. And it's still standing today. We used to do Canucks Convo in that house. You've seen it. Beautiful house.
I think Harman and Quads has got to make a trip out to Italy. Help them out.
Yeah.
Show them how show them the proper dimensions of an NHL size rink.
So I think the latest that I saw, it looks like it's going to be a few feet shorter and then about, what was it, like a foot or something narrower? It wasn't just originally.
So it's 3 feet in aggregate. It's not like one.
Yeah, I think the most recent update I saw on it was it's both going to be slightly shorter and narrower than a regular standard rink.
Narrower would affect them more.
Yes, absolutely.
Narrower
makes a huge difference. Even just like 2 or 3 feet narrower completely changes how a team can play. I've brought this up, Quads. when I was working for the Coquitlam Express in the BCHL, that rink actually is slightly narrower than a standard rink. And our coach in Coquitlam literally built his systems around playing on a slightly narrower rink. And that's why the Express in 2019-20 lost one game at home all year, because they defended differently and they attacked differently on home ice to take advantage of the fact that there's slightly less room along the boards compared to what teams are used to. So it changes a ton. Now the length, not so much. It's just going to essentially mean the neutral zone ends up being a little bit smaller. So not a big deal. But yeah, if it ends up being more than like 6 inches narrower on each side, it's going to change how players and teams have to play the game.
Yes.
Well, I also, even the neutral zone being smaller, I don't like that, because you go back to Four Nations, the Canada-US games are so tight checking. There was no room. That's the other thing about elite level hockey is you expect when you have McDavid, McKinnon, Eichel, Matthews, Jack Hughes, all these game breakers, Cale Makar, that it's going to be like you've got so much game breaking skill that it's going to be trading chances at both ends. But no, because these guys are also so smart and dialed in defensively that there's just no space to operate, to make plays. And now you shrink the rink even further. Jacob Slavin loves this news. Right? A little bit less space that he has to has in the neutral zone to have to gap up on Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon. And I do think functionally you're going to have to think about, it's not going to totally rechange the way you're making decisions, but on the fringes, right? A guy like Jason Robertson, who may or may not make the Olympic team. He's been red hot this year, right around the top 5 in NHL scoring this year. Jason Robertson is such a dog along the boards. So does that become a little bit more of a consideration where Robertson was already on the cusp, and even if you had an NHL-sized rink with how unreal he's been this year, but also since the second half of last season when he was a snub, you could probably make a case for him to make the team anyway. But does the rink being slightly smaller now help his case, even if it's just marginally? So that's something that I
would say yes.
I'm curious to know, and
I mean,
would be thinking about.
What about Macklin Celebrini, dude? Like, yeah.
Well, even, and this is more just a separate note anyway, I want to see Tom Wilson at the Olympics.
Oh, you're on board?
Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, I want him in over Sam Bennett. You're not bringing both.
Yes, of course.
Because
it was funny because you kind of convinced me that I was wrong when I brought up Tom Wilson.
I was thinking about it more, and there's still part of me that's nervous about, all right, is he going to board a guy and
Dude's got 30 points in 28 games, though. He's got 30 points this year.
He's got 16 goals already. He's been their best player, and this is the point, right? I've watched the Caps a few times this year, and Tom Wilson just jumps off the page. Right? It's not even so much the intimidation factor, which already is just Tom Wilson barreling down on you on the forecheck is pretty terrifying. And you watch NHL games, a lot of defensemen just bail. Right? We saw it when the Canucks and Capitals were playing, where Wilson, you hear the footsteps, and the defenseman half-heartedly goes in, and Wilson gets the free retrieval on the offensive zone dump in.
Honestly,
but
go on.
Even the physicality and intimidation factor aside, right? Because there's no fighting at the Olympics. I don't care about that part of it. The offensive production has been elite, and with the size and speed, plus elite penalty killer, trustworthy defensively. Keep this in mind, the Capitals, it's not just that Wilson's putting up points and scoring a ton of goals. The Capitals use his line, the second line, in a shutdown role against the other team's best players. So Wilson, I think stylistically works well in a bottom 6 capacity where you can use him to defend against top players. You can use him to kill penalties. You know that his playing style will actually translate to, let's say, a third or fourth line role where he isn't playing as many minutes. And on top of that, he's tied for 7th in goal scoring in the league this year. And then the physicality is a bonus on top of that.
I'm with you.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump back in because I have the confirmed dimensions for the Olympic rink, confirmed by The Athletic, the IIHF approved a 196.85 foot by 85.3 foot sheet of ice. So it's actually going to be a couple inches wider, basically an inch wider on each side, but over 3 feet shorter. So you're looking either at neutral zone that's going to be shrunk if they want to keep the zones the same size, or you could take 1 foot out of each offensive zone and a foot out of the neutral zone. But regardless, like that's quite a bit shorter, and they're going to have to make up that space somewhere.
Yeah, and does that mean more dump and chase? Because you're going to have less space to the neutral zone. And again, that's where I think Wilson, smaller areas. I like the idea, not to mention because Dubois has been hurt for most of this season, Wilson's center this year has been Justin Sordiff. Now, credit to Sordiff because he's held up well, but the point being, Wilson's not riding the coattails of a talented centerman either. He's been the guy, the driver on that line for Washington, and Washington's one of the best 5-on-5 teams in the NHL this year.
I'm trying to pull this up because there was a quote from Bill Daly that Matt Larkin wrote about. Let me find it. Let me just get it. I want to make sure I do it properly. Yeah. Yeah, so basically Larkin talked to Bill Daly, and the quote was, if there's no rink, there's no NHL players going. So I know we're talking about strategy and all that, but and size of the rink and everything. The bigger story is they haven't built the rink yet. We're a couple months out. They have not built the rink yet. That's what we need to be talking about. Just making an awful name for Italian builders. My goodness. Think of all, anyways, I'm not going to go down that road, but it's just making an awful name for Italian builders. Who's going to trust a shelf built by me now?
Yeah, that's the number one consideration. Not that NHL players may not be going, but for you, Quads, no one's going to trust the work of Italian builders anymore.
Thank you. You could seriously damage our community, the Italian building community. Yeah. We'll see. It's just something we have to follow now, right? It's literally just something we have to follow. Is the day that the rink is done, we'll be celebrating on this show, because could you imagine getting this close and getting this excited? How long have we been talking about Olympic hockey, NHL players getting back to the Olympics, and it at the final hour, it's just oh, actually there's no rink, so there's not going to be Olympic player or NHL players going to the Olympics. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. Quinn was asked about it today by Tyson Cole, actually, of Canucks Army. Didn't really want to talk about it, but did say yeah, shorter rink would change a lot. And then he just kind of said there's smart people on it, so I'm trying not to worry about it. Talked about focusing on tomorrow's game and focusing on his games with the Canucks, which makes sense. But yeah, just was a weird situation that we'll definitely be following as time goes on. Okay. Anything else that you want to get to?
Your bet yesterday. You bet on the Bucks.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. Giannis Antetokounmpo left yesterday's game with what was it, a calf strain?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Bucks won. They beat
they won.
Yeah,
they were down 9 points.
Dude, they were down by 19 points when I checked, and it was oh, Giannis has left the game. Yeah, he's they don't need Giannis to win, apparently, because they took down the Pistons. Wow, I can't believe they won that game.
3-1 on basketball bets now.
3-1 on basketball bets, 113-109. All the best to Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously. Out a couple weeks with calf strain. That's an actual injury. That's not I don't feel good. I'm tired. I don't want to play. But yeah, I'm 3-1 on the basketball bets. We'll do another one then. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, do it.
All right, then without further ado, let's get to our Bet365 bet of the day, which is brought to you by Bet365. Easy. Well, I don't know. I want to take my Celtics, but the
Chris Paul Celtics.
Yeah, Chris Paul, the boys, Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo. I know those guys. I don't want to take them because they're Shaq. Yeah. They're minus 450 favorites, so that's a cop out. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, you can do it once.
No,
because
that's
basketball
cheap,
bets are too lopsided.
No, we can't, dude. We can't. We're gonna go with an underdog. Okay. There's actually a
Ooh.
couple of good NBA games on tonight, believe it or not. The Toronto Raptors are taking on the LA Lakers. LeBron, right? Yeah.
No Luka Doncic though. He's back in Slovenia for the birth of his child. So
Okay.
no Luka against the Raptors.
Yeah. All right. We're not going to touch that game. That's a good one, is what I'm saying. Read about it at raptorsrepublic.com, Nation Network site. We're going to Golden State though, because my Warriors, right? You know all about my Warriors. I've bet on them before. They haven't let me down. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they're going to cook tonight. Plus 155, you can get the underdog Warriors money line against the 76ers. Does Joel Embiid still play for the Sixers?
He does, but I have no idea if he's healthy or not.
No, you don't even have to say that. Obviously, we don't know if these guys are healthy because they just take
No, but
nights
Joel
off.
Embiid especially, he's actually had really bad injuries.
Like this season or what?
I don't know about the season, but I remember in the playoffs, was it last year or the year before, just like a devastating injury in the first round of the playoffs where you immediately knew, oh, this guy's done. He's made a class.
He's done tonight. Plus 155. Yeah, here we go. We're taking it. Golden State, you can get them. Underdogs, plus 155. Golden State Warriors money line. Remember that, Jacob, because I'm going to ask you tomorrow what I bet, and we're going to bounce back and forth through a few things because I brought up about 5 teams. So the Golden State Warriors, that's our bet. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 plus to play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. All right, we will close it out there. Wait. That's funny. Jacob brought up the name of the arena. They named it before building it. Pala Italia Santa Giulia Arena. Is that it? Really?
No, that not arena, just Pala Italia Santa Giulia. That's the name of the building.
Oh, okay. None of those words mean arena in Italian.
I know. I am well aware.
It's because they're not planning on building one.
I think the Pala.
This is the plot of land.
I think the Pala in Pala Italia would be like palace, right? So that's probably where.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they've been constructing a real life palace. Good to know.
Yeah.
I genuinely
Mixed it
wonder if the builders like
This was supposed to be a hockey rink?
what the hell is a hockey rink? They're probably wondering.
Oh my gosh.
They probably have no idea how much North Americans care about, or like Canadians specifically care about hockey as well. They're like, we're a little bit behind. It's just hockey. Who watches hockey?
What is the Italian word for arena? English to Italian.
Does Italy have to ice a team because they're hosting the?
Yes.
They do.
Have you not
Did
seen
you
their
get
team?
an invite?
Dude, no, I didn't. Did you see their team? Damian Clauda, the goalie who actually went pretty high in the draft, is their goalie. He's gonna be a story. Like he's going to be a story in this.
I do remember about
Olympics.
I remember about a year ago, there was a bunch of like North American players, Canadians and Americans, who were trying to see if they could get onto the Italian national team through grandparents. And I think the IHF was shutting that down pretty quick. They didn't want the Italian team to just be a bunch of NHLers with Italian last names who wouldn't make Canada. I mean,
he did, wasn't it? Wasn't Giuseppe one of the guys that actually
was one of the guys? Yeah.
Yeah, he did try to get on the team. They should have let him on.
Yeah, but I think the whole point is they want, because Italy's hosting, they want actual Italian players, even if they're going to lose 10-2 or 13-0 to Canada. Like they want them to actually be Italian players.
If your parent was actually born in the country, you're eligible, right?
Yes, but I think a lot of the North American.
I'm eligible for the Italian national team.
There you go. I think a lot of the North American guys, their grandparents were born in the country.
Yes.
Right, because that was the generation when Italians immigrated to Canada and the U.S. in masses, around World War II for obvious reasons, and now their grandchildren are of age to play in the Olympics, but couldn't get their citizenship worked out, or the IIHF, I think, kind of just stepped in and said, no, we're not doing this.
If the rink ends up being smaller, whatever powerhouse team ends up playing Italy should just lay the hammer down. Just like 20-0. Doesn't matter that we're up 10. We're throwing people out on
Tom
the
Wilson bearing down.
ice. Tom Wilson, you got license to bring Sam Bennett too, just for that game against Italy. Just take all that anger out.
Harm, the schedule is already out. I can tell you.
Oh, who's in there? Who's in their thing?
Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Italy. Ooh, that's rough.
Group.
No, Finland. Okay, yeah, you don't have to deal with Canada or the U.S., but you still Finland, Sweden, Slovakia are all going to have NHLers on their team.
Sweden, we're
Yeah,
bringing
they'll be
DPD
good.
just to blow guys up in the neutral zone.
Cronwall, everyone. Oh boy.
And just for reference, the other groups: Canada, Czechia, Switzerland, France, U.S., Germany, Latvia, Denmark. U.S. got the easy group.
Victor Mancini. Actually, Mancini told us it was his grandpa. Remember, he came on this show and told us that his grandpa was the one that came from Italy. So he's not eligible. People are asking about Victor Mancini. Can he go play? No, he can't. And we know that firsthand. He told us that his grandparent, I think his grandpa, he said, was the one that came to New York from Italy. Very common around that time, like Jacob said. All right. Anything else, boys?
I think I'm good.
All right. Then I think it's safe to close it out there. We'll be back tomorrow, folks. Game preview episode tomorrow. Potentially back at the Wall Center tomorrow. We'll see. Harman and I kind of want to go for lunch, so we'll see. But we'll close it out there. For my co-host Harman Dial and our technical producer Jacob Lazar. My name is Dave Pedrelli. Thanks so much for the episode of Canucks Conversation.
Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.